Hey, it's Jimmy from the AI Strategy Lab. Hey, if you're like me, I really do not like writing YouTube descriptions. I started this YouTube channel and early on, I realized I very much dislike doing it. I even dislike going to ChatGPT and having it write my descriptions. There's just too much back and forth prompting and things that needs to happen. So I built a workflow in N8N that you can take the link of any video, drop it into a chat widget, and it will generate 5 SEO-friendly title ideas, a full written description, and it will do timestamps and chapters. So I built an entire system for that, and we're going to walk through it, and we'll also build it here on this video as a step-by-step tutorial in case you enjoy doing those things. So before we do that, let me show you a little bit about what the output looks like before we start talking about the workflow. So this is a YouTube video from GaryVee that is just a link that I put in there. You can see that I dropped the link in there, and then the AI agent comes back with 5 ideas for the video, and then a whole written description, and then time-stamped chapters down here, along with information about resources on how to contact me. So I pretty much just have to take this, copy and paste it, and I'm ready to go. So this is the workflow. We're going to actually build it node by node during this video, so you can kind of walk through it on your own, and you can also easily download this if you want to save some time. It is in the description, but let's walk through kind of what this does, what the prerequisites are, what you need to set up, etc., and then you will be all set to build this on your own. So the first thing you're going to need is you're going to need a Telegram trigger. So on the Telegram trigger side here, I have a way to set up a Telegram bot like you saw over here. You can take that. There's a video in the description. You can take that video. It's about 3 minutes on how to set up a Telegram bot. So just grab that video, check it out real quick, and you should be good to go. So you need that. The other thing you need is you need a scraper from Apify. So you need an Apify account and you need a scraper, and it is a paid account, but to scrape it, it's $7 per 1,000 results. So it's extremely inexpensive to scrape a single YouTube video transcript. So this is the one that is referenced in the description as well. You'll get the link to it, but this is the scraper that you'll need. And then you're obviously going to need N8N and this YouTube AI agent YouTube formatting and transcript agent setup. And once you have all of those kind of prerequisites set up, you are ready to roll. So we are going to build this step by step in this video. So to start with, we'll start with a blank canvas. And on this blank canvas, we're going to start again with our Telegram trigger. So we're going to start here. We're going to go to Telegram and we're going to add a trigger. We're going to get, and the trigger is going to be a message trigger. So let's type in message. So on message. So we're looking for an inbound message to come in. And here I have my bodified YouTube bot already set up. This is my credentials. Again, that video, you can check that out on how to set that up. You'll see that in the description. So this is the first step of this. So basically, this is going to be sniffing out any kind of inbound messages from Telegram. The next one is a code node. So we're going to need a code node. And I just recommend copying and pasting this code from the download in the description. So basically what this code node does, but let's talk a little bit about it. Basically, we're going to do it run once for all items, JavaScript, and then you are going to paste this in here. And all this is doing is this is looking for shorts coming in. So, there's links for shorts and there's links for longer form videos, which is the watch:\v= part here. So it's looking for shorts and it's going to replace the shorts URL with a longer form YouTube one, because that's where the transcript lives. The transcript does not live in the shorts. It lives on the longer form. And technically all the shorts have links like this here. So so we just needed a way to like transform those links into a longer form video size here, so we can grab the transcript and do the magic of reading that transcript. So that's the next step. Okay. Next, we're going to add an AI agent node. So we're going to add an AI agent node here. And on the AI agent node, we are going to set this to define below. And we're going to have a user prompt here message. And I'm going to copy and paste it from the other workflow, but we'll kind of walk through that here. So basically what this is looking for, your instructions, the user has given you you this message, and it's basically the message text. In this case, will likely be the YouTube URL coming in. So that's that. Enable a fallback model. I like to just have fallback models set up and ready to go. And then we want to add an option here. Here's where we want to add a system message. And the system message is super important here. I'm going to paste in the prompt that I have from the example and set it as an expression, because there's some information in there that we may need for expression. No, I don't think there's anything here. So either way, fixed or expression will work just fine. So let's go through this prompt in detail so we understand what's going on here. So this first agent, its job is to just take the inbound information, pass it to another agent that's going to take the transcript and do all the fun stuff with that. But it's also to receive the information back from that other agent and format it. So this one's kind of doing a couple jobs, but it's like the main agent doing most of the work. So it says, when given a YouTube URL and a request to get the YouTube description, your job is to use the YouTube transcript agent to fetch the transcript, who will send you back the timings, chapter information. Okay. Your job is to brainstorm 5 SEO-friendly YouTube titles based on what you receive from the YouTube transcript agent tool. Format that information into a cohesive YouTube video for the YouTube description field, and create the timestamps with chapters exactly like below example. So here's where I have another part here. Think. Use this when you feel stuck and need to think about what to do next before passing on to the next stage. So this is basically using the think function of the tool itself to help, and it does use it in quite a bit. I've seen it'll have to use that tool to ensure that it's not getting stuck about these transcripts and whatnot. So the other part here is some heading examples, how it should use bullets and bolts. So this is called Markdown if you're not familiar. So this is going to use Markdown. You can use Markdown in the descriptions, which I like how it looks when I'm reading the descriptions when we're using Markdown. Then I say, okay, example output of the chapters, which must include heading 2 in bold. So I have heading 2 example here, chapters. This is just how I like it, but this part's required. It must start with 0:00 and then the introduction, and then the rest of these are timestamps. So I show examples of what that should look like, and then some rules. Never use double stars. So I saw that some Markdown uses the double asterisk here, which is going to bold it. I asked it not to do that. Only a single asterisk is needed to bold information. And then you may never discuss anything with the user other than the following: responding back with the video title ideas, SEO-friendly YouTube description, and chapters and timestamps. Number 2, you may let the user know if there is an error, such as an invalid YouTube URL. Number 3, you may allow the user to do another description generation with input from him or her. Number 4, no other discussion is allowed. So just keeping kind of tight in information only related to this YouTube video. So that is the setup of the first part of the setup of the agent. I also have this selected here, return intermediate steps. I have that turned on, and that is the setup for this AI agent. Now we need to add some of the fun stuff to the AI agent, such as the model. So here I like to use the OpenRouter chat model. Here you can select a whole bunch of different versions of models and such. And so I just have an OpenRouter account. If you're not familiar with that, there's tons of information about this one account where you can choose a whole bunch of different models. And it's one that I prefer to use here. So we're going to do GPT-4o. This is what I found works very well here in the setup here. I think that's all we really need. We're going to leave that alone. And then we're going to add a fallback model. And that's in case the in case the model's not working for whatever reason, or you get some kind of error. We'll do the same thing. OpenRouter chat model. We'll just do 4.1 mini. That's fine. And then we're going to add a simple memory. So this is very important to keep the memory of the conversation going from the previous, conversations have been going, in case the user wants to say, make some changes or something to the previous prompt or whatever. So here you want to set it as defined below. And then I'm pasting in from the original, the JSON message chat ID Telegram trigger. So basically what this is doing, this is looking back at that Telegram trigger and getting the chat ID from it so it can remember the conversation that had been happening there. So that is that part. And lastly, we need to add the think tool here. So the think tool, basically on this one, I've got some, I don't think I have any special information here. I think it's just whatever the context was here before. Yeah, that's the same thing. So just the description, you keep it like that. But having this here, I've seen helps with the generation of this stuff. And that's that. So that's this part of this. Now, what we need to do is we need to do the AI agent tool portion of this. So you hit tool here on the plus part and you put AI agent tool you choose. So this is the tool, again, that's going to do the transcript portion, okay? On this one, we're going to add this description here that says, this agent can search through different social platforms and perform various tasks, okay? And then we're going to add a system message here. So go to add option, system message, and we're going to add in as an expression, and we're going to paste in the message that is in the original one, which we're going to walk through right now. So this one is a lot more specific on how to like process the transcript timings, because it's very complicated how they come through, and we will look at an example of that in this video of how they come through. And I think I cracked the code on how to do this. So I get really good results back almost every time I put a video link in. So, you know, I save you some time there. So you are a YouTube transcript processing agent. Your job is to use your YouTube transcript scraping tool to scrape a given YouTube URL for its related transcript. Once it is scraped, you are to generate an informative video description used for the YouTube description box and generate precise timings for the chapters and timestamps. So here in this rules section is where I get really detailed into the timestamps and chapters. I'm not going to go into too much detail here on this video. You can read through it, but I said basic things like, hey, you got to start with 0:00. So that's one very basic thing that is required. Once you start that is how the YouTube description field works for chapters. It'll start to kick in chapters and timestamps. And then I have some things about the formatting of how to format hours and minutes and seconds should you have an hour-long video. And then add titles to each given timestamp, so on and so forth. And then this section down here, I have some like example calculations. I was noticing that the LLM's tendency was to round it off to 120 or something like that, and it would just always be like zeros and fives, and the timings would be slightly off. So I gave it some examples of times where it should look at the JSON coming in, which says like the start is 121.439, the duration is 6.641 seconds, and then it says this: get the advice that Ethan shares in this conversation is incredibly tactical and worth a lot of money, so please. So this is what that text read in that particular part of the transcript. So what I did was I said, using example, if you wanted to start the chapter at the word I immediately knew it wouldn't work, you could guess that it likely begins in the middle of the 6.159, 6.159 duration. I guess it's 6.641. Oh no, this is referencing the one below, sorry. I had it backwards. Let's go above it. Example, if you wanted to start the chapter at the word the advice that Ethan shares, there we go, sorry. The advice that Ethan shares right here, then you would start it right at 122. So, just really close to 121. So just giving these different examples on how to sort of think about where to land on each part of the text should they want to start the chapter right at these specific words and things. So the last part of this prompt is your final output, which is output a full video description written in first person. First person is the way that I prefer for it to be written. So that is just my own preference. You can make that however you want, in a format that is user facing to be pasted in YouTube video description box. No need to use Markdown. Another agent will be formatting it. Keep your response in plain text. New lines are okay. So then I show what timestamps should look like. Notice I do have like the hours in here. I have, where we have minutes and seconds, and I have 11:22 and then 5:15. I have different examples in here to just give the LLM some guidance there. But this one's job is just to give the information back, and then to the other agent that was connected, and that agent is the one that is going to then process the information and send it back. So for this one, this AI agent tool, you don't need any kind of memory or anything like that, but we do need to add a chat model to this. So in this one, I use GPT-5 through OpenRouter. So I use GPT-5. I tried a lot of different models, but this one does require some processing just because it can be dealing with like an hour-long transcript. It needs a lot of context window, things like that. So I found that GPT-5 was the best performing. I tested a few powerful models, and that was the best performing one to get the best output. So do use GPT-5 here or something similar. On the tool side, we're going to add the thinking tool in again. This is helpful. I found in N8N to have this think tool here. So the next thing we're going to do is we need to add a tool here, and this is for the Apify scraping logic. And you'll have to do some setup in Apify to make this work, but the way that we're going to do this is we're going to do an HTTP request tool. And in this request, I'm going to put in a description here of use this tool to scrape YouTube video transcripts. This request is going to be a post request. And then in the URL, you're going to have this long URL that is pointing to that Pen Studio Apify scraper that we talked about earlier today. And you can grab this URL in the download example if you'd like, but it is here. Authentication, we're going to have none. We're not going to send any query parameters, but we are going to send headers. So here on the header side, we're going to use the fields below. On the name field of the first one, we're going to do content-type, and the value is going to be application/JSON. And then we're going to add another parameter. The name of this is called authorization. And then this is where you're going to put your bearer token. So I'm not going to put mine in there because then I'd have to like redo it and reset my original up. But it does start with the word bearer, and then you're going to have your API key in here as one of the values that gets sent over. Down below here, we have a send body. We're going to add some things here. So here we're going to do JSON. We're going to say using JSON as the specify body part. And then in here, I'm going to go ahead and paste it here so you can just see it. Here's where you put in video URL. So it's expecting this video URL to come in. This is what the agent before is kind of processing. So you put it here, and then that will take the link and send that on to this particular scraper. All right, we're going to go ahead and save all this for now. And then that is the basic setup of the agent setup. This is red for some reason. Oh, so wow, we forgot a prompt for the user. Description prompt user message. That's right. So this one, the way I set this up is I use this here. Let the model define this parameter. So yeah, I missed that in the original build, but I found that this works very flawlessly in this case. Sometimes I've had challenges with this particular one, but just try it in here and keep the user message defined by the model. It seems to work pretty well based on the prompting that we have in the other parts of this workflow. Okay, so the last thing we need to do is add edit fields and set node here. And this is going to be a manual mapping. We're going to add fields. So we're going to add a field called output, and it's going to be a string field. And I'm just going to paste the value of everything in here so you can see. So basically, this is the information that I want in here. So basically what I'm looking to have happen here is this is the JSON.output. So this is what the LLM came back with for the description and everything. And then this just gets appended to the end of it right before it gets sent back to the Telegram agent. So that is that part there. That's pretty much all that's needed there. All right. And then we have some other pieces that we need to set up here. Cleanup node set up here. So it's a code node. I'm just going to paste it in here again, just grab it from the description. This is a code node that is cleaning up a lot of the responses and things, and it measures so basically what I've set up here, it measures the tokens and things. I like to know, how each thing is functioning as it relates to tokens. I have a Google Sheet connected to this, so we'll go ahead and just connect that just so you can kind of see what we have here. So it's a pinned row. And so let me just pick my things here. Google Sheets account, pick this. Hopefully you've done something like this before. If not, you can just watch what I have from here. So I have one called Media Agent Logs. There it is, sheet number 1. And then there's just a long mapping here, which I will just go ahead and quickly do. Timestamp workflow name. So this is all coming from that code node prior, and it's going to be mapping out some things that kind of help me keep track of workflows and error logging and different things like that. And there we go. So we've added that one in. So the last thing we need to do is we need to add in the Telegram response. So this is going to be a send message. So send a text message. So that is going to be the response back from the LLM. So I'm going to choose my YouTube bot here that I have, and the chat ID will be this Telegram trigger, the same chat ID, so that way it's responding back to the same ID that came in on that workflow. And then in the text field here, this is the standard template content item JSON output. So this is the output that will be coming in from that edit fields node. And then we should be good to go on that. So I am gonna rename this edit fields one to standard template content, but it works. There we go. Excellent. All right. So we're gonna save this. So now we got to see if this thing works. In order to see if it works, I'm going to deactivate this one that is looking at that YouTube trigger there, and we're going to activate this one. All right, got it. And so it's now looking for the video link, and we'll just do the GaryVee one here. Hopefully there's no errors, so we'll go ahead and paste that one in here. We'll test it again, and we'll wait for the response. And let's check the executions here, make sure it's receiving the information. It is running. That's a good sign. And we'll see if anything broke along the way. And if so, we can fix it here, and then that way your workflow will work next time. Okay, wait, I encountered an authorization error when trying to it's a transcript. All right, let's see what Jimmy did wrong. Okay, so it looks like I did something wrong with the Apify credentials. Oh, because I didn't put the credentials in there. Aha, all right, let me pause the video for a minute here. I'll drop the credentials, and then we will retry this. All right, that has been done. We will try this again. Here we go. Executions, let it go. Looks like it's running. All right, I paused the video. It does take some time. This one took 2 minutes and 7 seconds, but it does take some time to generate. So let's go through here. So it gave us some video title ideas, top 5 trends shaping 2026 from individual empires to Africa's rise. And then it's got, so, you know, you can ask for like 10 descriptions here if you want. You can ask for whatever you want. You can also, if you have certain ways you like to write your descriptions, feel free to prompt engineer that. You know, this is totally open. This is just letting the LLM do whatever it wants here. And then in this video, explore 5 groundbreaking trends that are set to shape 2026. So really good. It's got some, I like how it does this highlighted key trends here. I think that's something unique that gets pulled in here. This is great. Information, and then here are the chapters here. So there's a sponsor message. You can delete, you know, whatever you want here. Here's a minute 33, the individual empire and decentralized monetization, so on and so forth. So I found these chapters are pretty darn accurate, and you can rely on them for the most part. Do check them here and there, but this is a pretty good tool here for creating YouTube titles. And then we have the resources, so you can have, you know, your regular resources in here. So just imagine this prompt can, you know, be anything that's specific to you and or anyone you're building this for. I guess it depends on the situation. But hey, thanks for sticking around this long. The items for this are in the description, and you should be able to download these and use them right away. And please comment if you have any questions, and we'll see you on the next video.